Hello everybody, I'm here for the Hero Game Channel. Welcome back to the New Order, the last days of Europe, and to my England playthrough. Now, I was not planning on getting this 5th episode out, well, EP5 out this week. However, I'm recording this on Tuesday. I have actually more time to make some more videos, so ta-da, we've got EP5, which is probably out on Friday. This is maybe Friday if you're watching this. Anyways, last episode we dealt with the traitors, we done some other stuff, and now we need to get to the royal issue, because is Queen Lizzie going to be joining us? Anyways, let democracy ring. The votes have been counted and the people have made their will clear. For the first time in 3 decades, a free and fair election has been held in England, and the people have chosen. They have chosen freedom, they have chosen democracy, they have chosen the National Democratic League. We shall unify the government to rebuild the nation. We shall improve our standing both at home and abroad. We shall transform England and the British Isles into a bastion of democratic freedom. Such is the will of the people. The scales of democracy. Okay. Increases Patriots to Whigs. Who's who? Who's who? Election season. Please tell me that's getting in the bin. We ended up dominating, actually. Yeah, that. Oh. The one who never surrendered. His mind that occasional fears. Is this Winston? Is this Winston Churchill? No, it can't be. The old man's legacy is secured. Okay. Right, the NDL is a balanced act. The right-wing English Patriots and left-wing New Whig parties both command significant influence in the NDL. When this organisation gets more than 40% influence, the other will raise alarms. If the influence goes at 40%, disaster and defection will occur. Keep the other wings balanced and his Democrats the strongest organisation in NDL. Speech to Parliament. Okay, that's fine now. Yeah, we've got George Jellicoe here. He's now in power. We have no foreign minister or security minister. We've got Shirley Williams as our economy minister, and our head of government of David Eccles. Ah yes, the election thing's gone. I have to do that as well. The Indo triumph in the early hours of the morning. Exit polls began to tell the results of the first English election in many years. The NDL has secured a majority of the seats in Parliament and would inevitably be called to form the new government. Such a spectacle has not been seen for 2 decades, and the change more than welcome. Good. Let's do a meeting with St. John Stevas. Norman St. John Stevas leads the Liberal Democrat wing of the National Democratic League. While he have some socially unacceptable preferences, we cannot ignore his influence. He was one of the few people able to rally the inner city populations against the SLP. Not only will we need to entertain some of his more liberal ideas regarding social issues, we'll also need to balance between him and Enoch Powell. Those 2 men and their respective factions will not play nicely each other, and it will be up to us to keep the party unified. Oh god, one thing after the other. Balance the political thing. Strength of the Democrats increases. Send Powell to watch military. Yeah, we really don't want to do anything of this right now. State will experience a massive increase in the economic output of domestic jobs. Yeah, we're not going to touch any of this, because right now, power's fine. Power's fine. I keep thinking that's bloody Russia. I'm an idiot. Oh, the new foreign minister, Norman St. John Stevas. He is... Ah, right, so Powell is going to be the security minister. Meeting Powell. There are a few figures that are more controversial in England than Enoch Powell. Despite his problematic views on religious freedoms and his complicated thoughts on immigration, he still has a significant amount of influence in the country. This influence is mainly amongst the far right, as well as supporters of the fallen Collaborative government. While many in the League dislike him, he is a key component of the government and must be kept on our side if we are to enact our vision for England. He is critical to our plans. We must meet with him to sway him to our cause. Oh, he's an authoritarian. Harold Wilson. Damn, the Patriots actually have the majority right now. What does this do? The House of Commons. The MA say, who are you? Harold Wilson. Their Majesty. There's no monarch. Alright, we're gonna get that sorted soon in the royal issue. Let's go ahead and grab an early industrial robotics. Yeah, we're still good on power. Power is good. All is right in the world. New security minister. Fantastic. I talk with Claude. Claude Auchinleck, the father of the National Democratic League, the leader of Her Majesty's most loyal resistance in the rebellion. There's no more prominent individual in England, or maybe even the Isles. He is the man who chose Jellicoe to lead the NDL, and as such, it's only right and proper that we consult with him about the future of the country. We can fish out his insights and further secure his backing. After all, he put us here. How hard would it be for him to put someone else in our place? Not very hard at all, but once we've had a wee conversation with Claude, oh, the royal issue, and we now have the German flippin' leopard as our tank. Fantastic. Just what we wanted. Well, let's go ahead and get to improve Jetcast 1. I think that's a good idea. Oh, we do still have this. Why are you still here? Get in the bin. Should we try and do some more to this? Our military loyalty will mildly increase. And our military efficiency. Let's increase that. Good. Somewhat inefficient, somewhat loyal. Definitely want to keep that up as high as possible. Let's go ahead and chill on the Scottish border and the Welsh border. I would like to invade them. I don't know if we're going to get the opportunity to actually strike them. I don't know if we're going to be able to make the UK, which kind of makes it pointless how I put it in the title, but oh well. I meet him, Auchinleck. George Jellicoe met up with Claude Auchinleck at the end of the busiest day of his life. Auchinleck had been expecting him. A chair being pulled beside a table and a glass of something had already been placed next to it. Jellicoe did not mind what he had been poured, so long as it wasn't strong. As it was strong, rather. How long do you think it can all last? Auchinleck asked Prime Minister, rather bluntly. If I'm honest, Claude, sometime between the end of the day and the next election. I fear such things are out of our control. If I say it, George, we are the last hope this country has. Wilson may personally be committed to democracy, but God knows what the rest of the SLP would do. Besides, we both know he somehow has less of a grip on his party than you have on the League. You simply must maintain the NDL, George, for the future of all of England depends on it. Jellicoe knew Auchinleck was right, yet he could not shift the ever-present fear that he could not make it, that he would not be enough. How about another drink? God save the Queen. The time has now come for Elizabeth Windsor to take the crown. The return of the Queen should be a momentous, joyous occasion, but it is marred by a pallid cloud. A question still hangs thick over the coronation. What is to be done about the collaborator, the puppet? What is to be done about the traitor king? What is to be done about Edward? There are many in the country and party with different views and opinions on the matter. Only once the question has been answered can she be crowned Elizabeth II, Queen of England. I feel like he needs either exiled or killed. Purely off the basis that we exiled or killed all the other traitors, so it would be unfair to let him go scot-bloody-free. Scotland, are you trying to, tell us something? Gods of the North. Oh, that means, our good old friend over here. Yep, the Divine Mandate of Siberia. Sermon of the Father. Kemerovo's doing mint again. Iberian Workers' Federation. Who the hell are you? Okay, the Royal... Right, for a brief moment, Jellicoe thought the radicals did have a point when they suggested shooting Edward. From an impartial point of view, it was simpler. Jellicoe's side came back to reality. Edward would live. Really, all the major decisions were made by Berlin, who kept Edward as a figurehead. And any of the minor decisions were made by people under him who hated his guts. And there was a bit of hesitation within the NDL to execute a close family member of the Queen anyway. So the sad sap would keep his head, but there was still a question of what to do with him. Exile him, that was an option, put him far away from the Isle as possible, but some said it was too much. He should be allowed to stay if his titles were stripped from him. I said keep his titles. Well, his titles, he would be nothing. But he would also be nothing if he was permanently kicked out of the kingdom. What was the difference? Both put him out of the picture just as well as the other. But still, there was a massive debate about exile was something out of the 1700s. Stripping his titles was too lenient. He could be doing something sneaky if it was put outside English jurisdiction. He might do something sneaky if he had access to London. He might just be happy to be out of the picture anyway and not make a move. God damn it. He was tired of this. He was Prime Minister and he'd solved the issue once and for all. And Edward would now be known as Mr. Windsor. Yep, he'll be known as Mr. Windsor for the rest of his life. Where's the next... Where's the next bit for the Queen? Put in the royal issue. Moment of triumph. Right, push for international recognition. I feel like that's a good one. Displacement of previous collaboration as government after the English Civil War has left some nations in the fog. Some do not know who we are. Some do not recognise our government, and others are not even aware of any change at all. We must rectify this and show that our government, our England, is a new and true England. This will allow us to take a step onto the world stage and open diplomatic and trade channels with friendly nations. Really, the Mediterranean's a friendly nation? Rather than being forced to continue to deal with the devil of Europe. Ties with the OFN, ties to the sphere, and embassies upon embassies. Gosh, we're going to go a little bit mental, aren't we? Right. Whoever came up with the idea to televise this deserved the knighthood, Jellicoe thought. Jet aircraft were preparing to fly the tape as soon as it was broadcast to Canada and Australia. TV sets were flying off the shelves, and everyone not in the crowd outside was gathered around a television set for the duration of the ceremony. Everyone could see the coronation, and everyone could be a part of it. Not to say this and had dampened attendance along the procession route. Everyone wanted to see the new Queen in person, riding with her husband in a gilded carriage with her newly incorporated loyal guards in front and behind her. The reception was mostly positive. The SLP had elements who were going to protest the ceremony. They had been drowned out by the cheers of the onlookers and the martial music. No disruptions on the route happened, which was Jellicoe's main concern. The ceremony began with the Queen entering Westminster Abbey to the choir singing "I Was Glad." When she had seated herself in the chair of the state, the religious paraphernalia and the coronation garments were brought in. Then came the first necessary step. The Queen stood next to King Edward's chair. "Sirs," said the Archbishop of Canterbury, "I here present unto you Queen Elizabeth, your undoubted Queen. Wherefore all you who are come this day to do your homage and service and are willing to do the same." God save Queen Elizabeth, affirmed the crowd throughout the rest of the ceremony, filled with oaths and traditions. He was never bored of or found himself wishing for a quick end. For everything that the HMMLR had worked for, everything that so many men had died to do, every sacrifice made by the people of England, it was for this. The true heir had returned, and the world knew that pre-war England had returned. When St. Edward's crown touched Elizabeth II's head, a new reign and a new era of our kingdom had officially begun. Ah, glorious, she's here. She is here. Moving to support the army. Ah, it's good to have the Queen. And we're still at 15-15, which is good. The Old Alliance. Is it a faction with the United States of America? Oh! Democratic England. We've got a lot to do. But they do only take 21 days each. The League meets. The first day of the aftermath. Where do we place the Whigs? Where do we place the sway to the right? Sway to the left. Unifying the party. Common enemy. Compromising. A visit in prison. Who's this about? The cells were opened slowly, startling the figure hunched over the small desk. He put down the pen he was holding and looked at the visitors. Still wasn't time for his meal. When he saw who it was, he straightened his posture and refused to stand to greet her. "Niece," came his tired voice, "I would never expect you to visit me." "Uncle," the young woman answered in a firm tone, without an ounce of sweetness for her kin. "Came to make sure you were being treated right." "I am indeed well treated, considered the circumstances," was the tired answer. Had he always been so sad, so empty? The woman remembered his jovial uncle when he played with her, always laughing, always ready to have fun. Now he's an empty shell, wrinkles bringing his once regal features down like ropes tearing down the statue of a tyrant. Despite her efforts, she voiced her innermost thoughts. Why did you do all this? Was your thirst for power so great you had to turn into that monster lapdog? Hunger for power, the laugh, so full of scorn, so different from the old ones, almost scared her. Elizabeth, in all my life I've never held an ounce of power. Took away my crown, my freedom. His voice cracked. They wanted to take away my heart, but I didn't let them take that. And look where this brought you. You betrayed the kingdom. You betrayed you were my father. She stopped when she saw her uncle's eyes turn hollow. You don't know what I suffered, Elizabeth. I took it all to save my people. I didn't betray them. If it hadn't been for me, London would be rubble by now. I see you are well, uncle. I will take my leave now. She made a turn. Be careful, Elizabeth. The Americans are not different from the Germans. They'll do the same with a friendly smile. Be careful, came Edward's last plea. Elizabeth walked away, but she couldn't help the nagging feeling that her uncle may, after all, be right. That is very true. The Americans could just be as bad as the Germans. Right, the jobless, the poor, the trade. Trade agreements in Italy. Lords Act, and England rebuilds. Oh, we have so much to do. We've even got the armed forces stuff to do. Oh, we're going to be busy. I feel like we should get the hamburgers and hot dogs in NYC. Let's go ahead and do the league meets. Now that we have met with all the leaders individually and secured our government along with the crown, it is time to hold the first official meeting of the National Democratic League. All the party leaders shall be given their opportunity to speak to the League regarding its future and the future of England as a whole. It shall be a great occasion for us to display the eternal unity of the League to the world. Good. Does this always happen to the Moscow tournament, the German sovereign zone? Interesting deal that is, I have to say. A legacy of ink and paper. Okay. I'm just in the White Eagle flies once more. I thought Scotland was demilitarized zone there. Okay, Wallace F. Bennett has been inaugurated as the President of the United States of America, the Bennett Presidency. Get the fire extinguisher. Don't be thinking about doing any warring right now. Wait, what happened to Africa, like, expanding? Because Germany's had their civil war. German ladies, is there still bomb? There's still just anarchy. German ladies and esteemed party members, said Prime Minister Jellicoe. Welcome to London and welcome to the first party conference of the National Democratic League government. The set off wild cheers and applause. Then again, if they wouldn't applaud that, then what would they applaud? We have much to discuss, starting with the recent victory that our party achieved at the polls. The New England has spoken, and the New England agrees with what the NDL stands for. A strong England, a uniting England, and an England that moves into the new world without turning back on its glorious past. No matter what we come across or obstacles in our way, we must remember this victory. That the first government of England chosen by the people was ours, that our platform was endorsed by the people, and that we must stand in the ranks with our party and the people to give them what we want and what we promise them. More applause, the party receptive to Jellicoe's message of unity, and hopefully they would keep the spirit of cooperative unity throughout the other speeches that would be held this week. Right, the aftermath. Not dealing with unification. Oh, let's go ahead and start doing building nation. Civil war has left England scarred physically, economically, and culturally. As sobbing fathers, mothers, daughters, and sons bury their loved ones, the nation must begin the process of rebuilding itself from the ground up. Cities must be rebuilt, roads must be repaved, and the people's wounds must be healed. While the worst may have passed, a long, costly process of reconstruction lies ahead. The new government must pursue immediately to secure the new status quo. It may take months or even years to rebuild, but with the classic English spirit, it can be done. England has been bowed and bloodied, but she remains unbroken. Day 2 of the NDL conference. Too often, previous governments, the poor have been ignored, left without the resources they need to adapt, or the skills to improve their position, said St. John Stavas. The collaborators have allowed this crisis to spread. The war has expanded enormously. We must address this issue immediately. An NDL government must not leave the poor and destitute behind. Moreover, as a recently liberated country, we have a duty to help other nations under the yoke of authoritarian oppression. Our victories encourage the peoples of the unfree world. We must join with the other democracies to encourage the cause of freedom, to give the oppressed our aid and help in the eternal struggle for freedom, and to ensure the cause of liberalism marches ever onwards. More applaud from the Foreign Secretary, but also a few boos and heckles. They were not SDP protesters who had infiltrated the meeting. Rather, they were Patriot Party members. They were not happy with the content of the speech, and many other right-ward members of the party were sitting on their hands during the speech. Despite Jellicoe's words yesterday, strong division still did exist under the surface. Indeed it does, and it's something we will be working on. We're still balanced, which is good. Let's spend some luck up on getting them up, because I'm going to keep doing that. England need not be reminded of its former glory, said Paul, for it is all around us. It is grand structures made by our ancestors, the canals dug by them, and the monuments built in their honour. England has a proud past, one that it must remember and cherish as it moves forward. It is filled with disasters of the age England finds itself in. Buildings bombed out and unable to house people, widespread poverty and unemployment, the rise of socialistic attitudes and beliefs. All of these threaten our country and must be addressed in the new administration. But just as worrying and as disastrous for our country is the total transformation to which there is no parallel in the 1,000 years of English history. What thousands upon thousands are alarmed at is the rising influx of immigrants into our country. It must be made permit thousands of persons to overwhelm our lands and the people who live here. As women in my district said to me recently, in 10 or 20 years, wow, the hold the whip. Wow, okay, I am not saying that out loud, but this guy, wow. Indeed, that is exactly what you'd be yelling at him. In the convention descended into a sea of chaos. Everyone shouting at the man on the stage, at the people yelling at the man on the stage, the people yelling at the people yelling at the man on the stage. Nobody could hear anything over the speakers anymore. The media was firmly focused on the disaster unfolding in the stands. Throughout all, a shocked Jellicoe could only stare before being quickly escorted out of the building. Oh dear. That is, wow, that was unbelievable. Completely uncalled for and unjustified. What a twat. Oh, I've just noticed we're actually in debt. Oh well. Oh well indeed. How are we doing for equipment? Are we catching... we're not doing too bad actually. Guns. Guns, we got 6.4k. How many factories have got on guns? 4. Let's bring that bloody down. Improved jet fighter. Glorious. And that's ahead of a time. Let's go ahead and do air superiority. Aryan Brotherhood has defeated... Oh my gosh, I think the Aryan Brotherhood might be winning over here. Which will be a first if it does indeed happen. Yeah, not dealing with... Oh, 100 Westminster Bridge Road. Okay, yeah, why is... Unification. MI6 is for the Queen. Reopening and reorganising the countries and counties rather. Education reform. Right, in order to secure their power, the German collaborationist government interfered with and redrew the borders of many England's counties. This has left many of them in a messy, broken down state with an extraordinary amount of bribery and corruption. If England is to be brought back onto its feet, the old English county borders should be brought back and tweaked slightly. And the counties themselves should be completely reorganised with new governments. This county reorganisation project will should greatly reduce the bureaucratic slog of local government, as well as reduce the massive amounts of corrupt officials. Good. Monthly GDP gains down by him. Don't really like that. What's happening? I thought I said there was decisions. Oh, doesn't matter. Does not matter. And you don't want to do any of the English stuff. Scotland and the English, I really want us to meet. I want to see what my option is, because if I can invade you, I am going to invade you. Sadly. Don't really want to, but I'm going to. I also want to invade Wales. I want to make the UK. Alright, infantry division, let's go ahead and the county rate issue. The county taxation system has been destroyed by the war. We must rebuild it. That gives us the ability to set the taxes to a level that could grant us extra funds and the cost of our support. If we lower taxes, our constituents would certainly be happy, but we would also just keep it at the same rates if we're fine with the situation we have at the moment. Cut the taxes. Things are fine right now. Yeah, I think things are fine right now. I don't think there's a need to increase the taxes. I don't think that would be very beneficial for us at all. Especially our new government. Seems like a quick way to shoot ourselves in the ass. Yeah, that's going to be fine actually doing that. That's grand. Just to get rid of the 17 militia divisions we have. Right, our lords, on lords and titles. In collaboration with government under the royal party appointed hundreds of life peers or lords who would serve their goals by approving the authoritarian agenda of the fascist House of Commons. These lords, while nominally meant to be apolitical, are clearly still working together to further the goals of the now defunct royal party. While they remain in control of the House of Lords, they will continually scrutinise and amend legislation that England needs to preserve itself. Though it may prove controversial, we could revoke these titles of lords appointed by the collaboration's government, removing more of the rot that the old regime left behind. Oh, let's get them in the bin. They are going in the bin because that is where they belong. Right, okay, good for you. I'm going to go with offensive doctrine and get infantry expert for you, as well as charismatic. Or adaptable, let's get that. Improv expert, boom. Robert has nothing. Robert has nothing left. Excuse me. Yeah, you're not going to survive, are you? You have done nothing. Operation Neptune. Okay. Still very, very balanced, but that's obviously going to change. Oh, yep, you're going to war again. Oh, the Aryan Brotherhood's against Samara. 7-13, 6-8. Yeah, they should lose. The Battle of Barcelona has occurred. Charles Hutzinger. Okay, we've got the House of Lords. Indicating the Lord's spiritual representative of the Anglican Church, the Lord's temporal hereditary peers who declare themselves for a party in the House of Commons, and the Lords of Appeal and Ordinary, who exercise the legal functions of the Chamber. Okay, House of Lords is back. Activate mission work on. Not dealing with unification. How the hell do we start off unification? Well, I could have gone better. Internal divisions have been exposed to the world. We'll need to work hard on the mend the division between party lines in the League. Only once we have united both the Patriots and Liberals beneath the banner of the League can we secure a democratic future of England. Tourism in Scotland. You're still not doing anything towards me. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Probably going to cost tons to change all these divisions over. The anti-fascist squad there. We have no anti-tank equipment, but I will swap all them over. Yeah, let's improve anti-air equipment. Let's do that. Close air support. Yeah, we lose 14 days. That's fine. No biggie. Right. Unify the party. A house divided against itself cannot stand. An American saying, but it still holds true. We cannot hope to bring England forward into the world if we are occupied with infighting and factionalism. We must rally both the left and the right-wing elements of our party and the country as a whole if we are to succeed. It shall not be easy, but it must be done for the good of England. It shall be done. I really want Scotland to do... Well, they've not really got much choice soon. But still, I don't know why they're dead against talking to me. I wonder if it is their focus that causes us to go for unification. Mission to the USA. Would you not just like to join back up with us? Friends in the British Isles? No, I want you to join me. Join me. Join back into the glorious Union. The UK can return and we can, I don't know, invade Himmler. Saying that, manual use for this feature has been disabled, so we can't do that. Oh. Support will increase in some area. Right. Where do we place the Whigs? We need to do something with the more liberal members of the League. They need to be assigned to various positions throughout the government. We could place them favourably in order to gather their support. We'll surely appreciate this, even if the Patriots do not approve. Alternatively, we could use them to fill the lower, less influential positions and place our own people on top to consolidate our control. I think what we're probably going to end up doing is we're going to dick on both of them and take control for ourselves. Because they only have 14% each. If we can probably get this up to 100, then we will be the big boys. A caramel colored wave. Okay. Horizontal industrial organization 3. We're not producing. Early anti-air. Oh, motorized equipment. We don't have motorized equipment in production. That's not good. That's not good. A ruffled wig. Alright, the Whig faction is a bit of a conundrum. On one hand, their support is needed to keep things running in the Parliament. Hungary sides by Italy, okay. Their prisoners are often close to the ones Jellicoe holds in private. On the other hand, they sometimes end up causing friction with the Conservative faction of the party. So what do we do with them? Give them a bit. And then what we'll do is we'll go with what to do with the Patriots. The right-wing Patriots party is an odd situation. In a rare point of agreement, both the SLP and the Whigs vehemently oppose them, calling them fascists. Regardless, we need them and their influence over the right-wing sections of the population. Just as with the Whigs, we must decide where to put them. Whether we place them in a higher up influential positions or in the lower down less prestigious positions, something must be done about them. Indeed. They've got a little bit of power, but they'll get some power here in a second anyway, so it'll be fine. Bandits raid in Kazakhstan, so the Kazakh Khanate is back once again. Kemerovo has completely surrounded the Siberian Workers' Federation, so they're probably going to unify that. Okay, Sverdlovsk has been killed by Omsk, and so has Tumen, so I guess Omsk is going to win in here now. West Russian Revolutionary Front under Georgy Zhukov is probably going to win there. Issues with patriotism. The Patriot Party is a bit of an issue. They're necessary to keep things passed in the Parliament. However, they have been a habit of supporting unpopular and unpalatable things that make Jellicoe nervous. So what do we do to satisfy him? We give them a boost. Ta-da! Remember the Civil War? The Indonesian War. Oh, for 74%. Give a speech in Parliament. Yes, let's increase our support. Let's do everything we can to increase our support. Oh, remember the Civil War increases it? 78%. Let's get these pricks dealt with. Alright, sway the right. Many right-wing voters have been refusing to vote following the loss of the collaborationist government. If we are to achieve a strong majority over the SLP, we will need those voters. But by using our good friends in the Patriots, we would be able to sway the voters using the Patriots' right-wing and conservative deals. Okay, not the greatest thing we could do, but anyways guys, I'm going to leave that episode there. So thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I shall be back very soon for some more. Until then, take care, cheer bye, then now.